Daily Gang, Daily Kamel here. We just watched the reveal of Future Circuit, the new main box that's going to be added to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on New Year's Day. And guys, it is no surprise. Look at him. The man, the myth, the legend is finally here. Firewall Dragon is in Duel Links. And accompanying him will be two other Link 4 monsters supporting the Goki and Trickstar archetype, along with Knightmare Unicorn. Now, those of you who have dipped your toes in Master Duel will recognize Knightmare Unicorn, probably one of the most influential and powerful Link 3 monsters, with an on-summon, Link summon effect to bounce a card back to the deck. This card is extremely powerful, along with some of these other support cards. Now, the thing about these Jump Festa reveals is that we don't really get much information besides some key ultra rare cards that are going to be revealed as being in the box. So this is literally all we got for Duel Links. As for other information like the anniversary selection box and other stuff, we didn't get any of that. This is all we got. So guys, let's talk about each of these cards and what they're going to do. So let's go ahead over here to DLM so we can check them out. Okay, so first let's talk about Firewall Dragon himself, the key card for this box. Firewall Dragon is a Link 4 Cyberse monster, requires 2 or more monsters. While this face-up card of the field, quick effect, you can target monsters on the field and or graveyard up to the number of monsters code-linked to this card. Return them to the hand. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or graveyard, you can special summon one Cyberse monster from your hand. You can only use each effect of Cyberse of Firewall Dragon once per turn. So let's talk about it, right? We've already had access to Firewall Dragon via the skill Storm Access, but you did have to get your life points down to 1,000. Excuse me, that's not correct. Cyberse, Firewall Dragon was in your deck from the beginning of the duel once you activated Storm Access. The get to 1,000 was to get the random Cyberse. So we really already had access to this card, and we have not actually seen it played at all outside of the first week of Brains World when Solomon Greats were actually utilizing the card. The problem with Firewall Dragon right now is that it is extremely hard to get to Link 4, and it is even harder to find times where going to Link 4 is worth your time and resources. Not to mention that you must be co-linked to other monsters in order to get the bounce effect you need. Now, that may not seem so tough, but you have to understand, like, with most decks that don't already work around Link summoning, getting materials together for a Link 3 monster is already hard enough. And if you're not playing Cyberse, you're not going to be getting those resources back. So getting Link 4 is very, very hard. Now, the reason I think this card is going to be made better is because this card is going to be coming out in this box alongside some more Cyberse support. So hopefully that should help the card become better in its own deck. I think that's what's more important for it to become viable, instead of making it a card that every deck is going to just run because it has a very powerful bounce effect. So I'm looking forward to Firewall Dragon, as long as the Cyberse deck also gets some powerful main deck supports it needs to make it better. The other support cards, because I think them being an ecosystem is really going to affect Firewall Dragon, because Firewall Dragon is really going to be more powerful the less powerful the other opposing Link monster. We're getting Trickstar Bella Madonna, and this is kind of an underwhelming Trickstar, albeit it is a Link 4, so Duel Links' effect damage is going to be halved, but it is unaffected by other cards' effects, period, if it is not pointing to anything. If this card points to no monsters, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Trickstar monster in your graveyard with a different name. Now, I don't know. I do not love this effect. I like the fact that Trickstar Bella Madonna is unaffected by card effects when nothing is pointed to it. However, there are 4 arrows. So 2 of your zones are going to be unusable if you wanted to gain this protection. And then you're going to be locked to one other monster. I guess you're going to have to set it up being a Link monster, and then your arrows are going to have to work because, you know, you're going to have to get rid of the monsters in the other zones so that you can maintain your protection for this monster once you put it in the extra monster zone. Or I suppose some way you can get it into the regular monster zone and make it point to no monsters below it, so it would be much easier to get this effect off. I think that's the only beneficial effects to the deck. It's going to be a big beater that sticks around a lot more often. Just being unaffected by other card effects just means, dude, you're just not going to be affected. So you're just going to have to win battles in order to stick, and that's just going to be another really good boss monster for Trickstar. Goki, the Master Ogre. Now, this is going to be a quick effect. You can return to the hand any number of Goki monsters you control this card points to, then target the same number of face-up cards your opponent controls, have their effects negated. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. If your opponent controls a face-up monster, this card can only target their monsters with the highest attack or attacks if tied. Okay, you choose. Okay, so I think that this is nice, being able to negate face-up cards. You'll also be able to negate face-up spells and traps, which is very good against Mech Knights and just anything else like Fiendish Chain as well on the field. And bouncing Gokis to your hand, this is going to make the other Gokis like Iron Claw and Headbat have much more value, since they are easily resummonable from your hand by using their own effects. So you can summon them and then resummon them pretty regularly. So that'll be pretty good. Now, for Gokis, I think that this is a good boss monster to have. However, I do think Gokis are going to need a little more to get them really running the amount of resource control that they are used to having in the TCG. We only have one Goki tag team. I believe that's the spell card's name. Goki tag in, whatever. We only have one of those spell cards. And, you know, at first, just having the card in general did feel very good. But, you really are missing the ability to refresh your resources pretty often, considering if your monsters do not get destroyed and sent to the graveyard, then you will actually not have access to them. And in the event that Gokis do ever get popular again, right, removal like Karma Cut is really going to go up in value, just preventing your Gokis from being able to recycle. Goki Rematch is the card. Thank you for reminding me, chat. The Goki box will be 50% off sale in January. That's going to make Gokis a lot more, how should I say, attractive, right? They're going to be a lot cheaper. However, before we move on to Knightmare Unicorn, something I will say is that both of the archetypal Link monsters that we see here, I think that while their addition to the game as Link 4 boss monsters is nice, I do think what these two decks specifically need to propel themselves into, you know, the meta, or, you know, propel themselves into being more than what they are right now, which are just like, you know, rogue anime decks. Because I think they're going to need a lot of their better main deck options. You know, just off the top of my head, you know, Trickstars, you know, they gave us one of the Trickstar cards, but they did not give us Trickstar Light Stage or the Trickstar Trap. Now, I know that these cards are extremely powerful. Trickstar Reincarnation, the Trickstar Light Stage, these cards are extremely powerful. However, I do think in some sense or in some way, they do have to increase the overall power of decks like Trickstar and Gokis in order for them to see any play. You know, I really think Trickstar is a deck where they missed the mark on skills. The skills really have no impact on the game, I feel like, except for the main one, which gives you the extra monsters. And I feel like, you know, that is something as well where, you know, they have an opportunity to improve. So hopefully, along with these two monsters, we get the main deck support that we need to really help them pop off, and hopefully we get some skills to make these monsters better. And now the MVP is going to be Knightmare Unicorn. This guy, I know him and I know him well. If this card is Link Summon, you can discard one card, then target one card in the field, shuffle it into the deck. Then, if this card was code linked when this effect was activated, you can draw one card. You can only use the effect of Knightmare Unicorn once per turn, while any code-linked Knightmare monsters are on the field for your normal draw in your draw phase. Draw one card for each different card name among those code-linked Knightmare monsters, instead of drawing just one card. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about Nightmares. I literally know about the 3 Link monsters that everyone plays. But apparently, let's see, Knightmare. I mean, there's no, they're just what? They're just like Link monsters. Yeah, there's just a bunch of Link monsters. So I guess we're gonna get all of these guys. Pretty interesting. We're gonna get some of them, right? Just the ones that stand out. Knightmare Phoenix to me and Knightmare Cerebus. These are the two ones, two other cards that are very, you know, recognizable in Master Duel. On Link Summon, this is going to let you target a special summon monster and destroy it for a discard. And this is going to let you target a spell or trap and destroy it for a discard. And these are both Link 2 monsters, Knightmare Unicorn being the Link 3. So this is probably going to be a ultra rare card. And we were discussing on the Twitch stream if we think cards like Phoenix or Cerebus, if they will be added to the game, and if they do, what rarity they will be at. I was leaning towards the idea that I do not think both of these cards will be super rares. I think that these are I think that these are more powerful effects in Duel Links just because they cannot be stopped by well, they can be stopped by, regular effect negation, but Link monsters having these effects that activate on summon is very powerful because, traditional means are not going to be able to stop them. And these are pretty generic, right? Just 2 monsters with different names, and Knightmare Unicorn is the same. So I'm going to be really interested to see how Knightmares shape up and which Knightmares they add to the game. Knightmare Unicorn shuffling cards back to the deck. We were just talking about cards that are really going to be able to out destruction effects like Goki, not have to play into that, and Knightmares are going to be able to do it just fine. So, man, what do we think about this box? Should you buy it based on what we know? We do know that Konami will be, a week before or a couple days before, they'll be showing us the full card list in game. But as of right now, should you buy this box? If all of these cards are ultra rares, man, I think you should buy this box. Just because I think you need to get a copy of Firewall Dragon. You need to get a copy of Knightmare Unicorn. And I think that that is going to be one of the things that makes this box even better, is the fact that if this box is very Link monster focused and it's not really, deck support focused, not like introducing a new deck entirely, I think that that's going to be very good, because if a lot of the box is all extra deck monsters, hey, that means you only have to go through the box once. You don't need, hey, I don't know how good it's going to be, but are you going to need more than 1, more than 2 Knightmares? Like, what is going to happen? What are they going to put in the rest of this box? Of course, putting Goki and Trickstar at the forefront, that means they're going to put their support in the box as well. As for how beneficial those support cards will be to the actual decks, I think that that is what you're going to need to, take a look at, because, I wouldn't want to invest in these decks because I don't feel like Goki and Trickstar specifically have the foundational support that they need to be good right now. And I think that if you are looking for this box to solve those issues, you really need to look first at what the cards do before fully committing this box. However, I think the safe bet is going to be go in once, get your Knightmare Unicorn, your Firewall Dragon. If you think you're going to play a deck that can utilize Firewall Dragon, I would definitely go for it. Otherwise, Knightmare Unicorn and you can dip. Guys, let me know what you think about the box. Let me know what you are excited for. Let me know what you think we're going to get from each of these archetypes for support. I'm hoping we're going to get some cyber support, some actual cyber support, now that we're getting Firewall Dragon, dude. So let me know what you guys are excited for. We're going to be covering Master Duels updates for Jump Festa right after this. Peace out.